Hi, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk Chicago. My name's Jon Zaghloul. Great to have you here. Channel 59.3 BPOD TV and Roku. Finally, the Bears have been active at free agency. We'll break down their two recent signings in just a second. Before we get started, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports and on Facebook at Jon Zaghloul. If you want to watch more of this show, search up Sports Talk Chicago, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and sportstalkchicago.com. You want to watch more shows from the BPOD TV network, search up BPOD TV on YouTube. I want to start today with this. Maybe, in retrospect, I was a bit premature to discuss Ryan Poles and the Bears' free agent strategy. I said yesterday, which I still believe to be right, patience is a virtue. The Bears should not have just gone out and spent tons of money like Ryan Pace, then be stuck with bad contracts, stupid contracts. That would set the team back in a couple of years. Smartly, intelligently, Ryan Poles waited to see how the market developed. Didn't jump the gun, didn't make an overly aggressive move to the point where the Bears would be cap-strapped. He waited. And late last night, some news broke that the Bears made two key signings, one of which I'm extremely excited about. The Bears have officially upgraded their offensive line. They've signed guard and center Lucas Patrick to a 2-year, $8 million deal, $4 million guaranteed in year one. Former Packer, worked and played under Luke Getsy, the Bears' offensive coordinator. Here are some stats on him. 459 snaps at left guard, 958 snaps at center, 1,267 at right guard. You have to love this move. This is something that a lot of us have been clamoring about for years, even. Not just this past season, years. The Bears finally have some money to invest in the offensive line. And this couldn't have been a better move. He's a solid player, started 28 games the last two seasons for the Packers. Now, the Bears lost James Daniels yesterday. A lot of people talked about it. This is by far a great replacement. Real question is going to be where you're going to play him. Has experience at 3 different spots on the offensive line. And he's proficient, if not really good, at all 3. I'm just so happy about this move. I mean, Justin Fields needs some sort of protection. We've talked about this all season. He was running for his life. We remember the Cleveland game. We remember the fumbles, the interceptions, the being rushed in the pocket. We remember how bad the Bears' offensive line was. Might have been good for running in the run game, but not that good when it came to protecting the quarterback. This shores it up a bit. Hopefully there's more to come, but this is a great start from Ryan Poles. I mean, look at those numbers again. Really? 459 snaps at left guard, 958 at center, 1267 at right guard. He could play all 3 of those positions. The Bears need a center, too. He's probably going to be much better than Sam Mustipher. I loved it. I loved the move. On top of it, you poach him away from Green Bay, bring him to a spot where the offensive coordinator, just so happens to be your former coach in Green Bay as well. He'll be familiar with blocking schemes from Getsy, plays from Getsy. I see this being a big win for the Bears. And another shrewd move by Ryan Poles. Take a look at the money. 2 years, $8 million, $4 million guaranteed, done. The Bears had $41 million in cap space? Great. You're only committing $4 million guaranteed for this year. For starting caliber offensive linemen who can play 3 different positions on top of it. Another shrewd move. If there's one word to describe Ryan Poles at this point, a couple of days into free agency, it is shrewd by far. And I love it. He's not breaking the bank, but he's also addressing needs that the Bears have. Can't argue with either of those two aspects. And the Bears made another splash. They signed a new linebacker, Nicholas Morrow. On the second day of the legal tampering period, he was an undrafted free agent in 2017, spent his first 5 years with the Raiders. This one I'm a bit more weary about, but there's good and bad to his signing overall. Now, the good is he improved in each of his 5 seasons with Oakland and Las Vegas. In 2020, he had career highs in total tackles, 79, tackles for loss, 8, sacks, 3, and QB hit 6. Problem is, he suffered a foot injury last year, did not play one game in 2021. The Bears are transitioning, of course, to the 4-3 defense. They need a couple of good linebackers to surround Roquan Smith. It looks like Morrow might be one of them. This is one where it made sense for the money. Not a lot of money committed to Morrow. Even not a lot of years as well. This is a shrewd move once more by Ryan Poles. The question is, can he replicate what he did in 2020? Sat out a whole year, had an injury. Is he going to come back okay? And can he build upon all the improvement he sustained over his first couple of years in Oakland and Las Vegas? Each year he got better for the most part. 73 tackles 2019, 78 2020, 43 2018. He's gone up each of those years. Had a career high in sacks also in 2020. Played in 14 games, started 11. So he was turning into a starter from an undrafted free agent. That's a great sign right there. Good numbers that last year for not being their primary tackler, but injury history. Hurt. What's he going to do? We don't know. But again, Ryan Poles did not spend a lot of money. So I'm happy. I really am. There's no need to give out stupid money to players who won't be worth it. And the Bears maybe have not made the biggest high-profile signings, but the last time I checked, they are not in it to win this year. And we know that. Oh, and by the way, here's another replacement potentially for Khalil Mack. Once again, the Bears are saving money. I'd rather pay Ogunjobi and Morrow what they're getting and get similar, if not a bit better production than paying Khalil Mack $26 million. I mean, this move officially put me over the top for Mack. Now I don't really care that he's gone. I hate to say it. From a fan standpoint, from a sentimental standpoint, it sucks. But business-wise, great move by Ryan Poles. He's cut everybody. Eddie Goldman, Danny Trevathan just got cut. You know what? Go ahead. You're saving tons of money for your team. Getting rid of these old guys who have bloated contracts and who, let's be frank, really aren't performing to the extent that they should be. Mack was, but he even got hurt. Everybody else wasn't. Get these guys off the books, save money, and you'll be okay in 2 or 3 years. Did want to say this, too. A new name has entered the free agent market at wide receiver, and yeah, it's a pretty big one. Julio Jones. Just got released by the Titans. He's now available, willing to sign with any team. Could the Bears be in? Could they be interested? In case nobody knows or forgot, Julio Jones is a top 10 wide receiver when healthy, and that's the key with him. He was hurt a lot of last year. Didn't have the best statistics. That again, though, was in a new place, Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill, quarterback, 434 yards in 10 games. So not the best. One of his worst years, actually, in the NFL. But before that, talking about 13,000 yards in his career, and he's only going to be 33 years old. The real question is going to be, how much money will he command? How much money will he be offered and given on the open market? And that's the question for Julio Jones and what he's going to do. So I don't advise the Bears overpay for Julio Jones at all, but it's an intriguing option if he stays out of the open market. And if the Bears are willing to not overpay and give him a competitive contract offer, maybe it's possible. Tell you one thing, Julio Jones, Darnell Mooney, potentially a draft pick. Watch out. I don't care that he's old. He's great. May not catch touchdowns, but racks up tons of yards year in and year out, with the exception of really last year. Because even in 2020, with Atlanta's last year there, 9 games, 771 yards, he was going to get 1,000 again. He's going to do it again. Julio in his career, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons. mean, he's a borderline Hall of Fame candidate at this point, and that's not even a controversial opinion. It's the truth. With the yards he's had, the longevity he's had in his career, there's no doubt that he'll get consideration on the ballot if he plays 1 or 2 more years even. Even now, if he retired, he'd have strong consideration. So you're talking about a potentially Hall of Fame wide receiver being available on the open market for maybe the right price. How about the Bears at least put a feeler out? You are in desperate need of wide receiving help. Everyone's off the board, except, okay, Juju Smith-Schuster still. Now Julio Jones, but everyone else is off that you targeted. Christian Kirk, Russell Gage. Christian Kirk got overpaid, but still, all the guys that you wanted, that you targeted, are gone. As of today, Darnell Mooney's your number 1, and while that's fine, it would be nice to add Julio Jones, a veteran presence, on your offense. A guy who could still produce in the right situation, if he's healthy, too. So, it is a question for Ryan Poles. Based on what he's done so far, I don't expect the Bears to really be in on it, only because it's different from what his philosophies are. He said he wants to be quick, wants to be fast, wants to be young. Well, Julio Jones is old, not as quick as he was before, doesn't really catch touchdowns anymore, and injury prone. I don't know if that's something Poles would be interested in spending a lot of money on. If the price is right, though, and we all know the Bears need wide receiving help, it's certainly a possibility, and I wouldn't be disappointed at all. I'd be pretty happy with that move should it happen. I will not revise my grade on Ryan Poles and free agency yet. Once again, as of today, it's still an A to me. Every move he's made has been calculated. He's a calculated decision maker. I love it. He's not impulsive. Ryan Pace, you could tell, inexperienced, impulsive, spending tons of money that the Bears really didn't even have. Ryan Poles, inexperienced at the position, but he's acting like a veteran at this point. Super calm, testing the market, and not spending tons of money impulsively to please the fan base. I love it. I love it. I'd rather it be this way than Ryan Pace Part 2. I know there are some who are still a little bit underwhelmed. Why are the Bears spending money? What happened the last time the Bears spent tons of money all at once? Well, right now. Ryan Poles inherited a horrible cap situation, cleared out cap. What were the Bears last year? 6-11? No, thank you. With aging contracts, guys who weren't playing and weren't producing when they were playing. The fact is, change needed to be made, and the Bears have that right now in Ryan Poles. Obviously, all these moves and these players are going to have to perform, and that will really determine how well he's done. What I love about all 3 of these moves that he's made, they're all small money and small commitment. Every move he's made, small money, small commitment, gotta love it. He's the anti-Ryan Pace, and that's kind of exactly what the Bears need here, right? No crazy spending, no long commitments. That way you free up cap space in the future. And when you're competitive again, maybe you don't need any of these guys. You get rid of them all and find somebody you really need at that point and spend real money. He's doing it the right way, and to me, it's actually pretty shocking and surprising to see the Bears actually spend money responsibly. Unbelievable. Can't believe I'm sitting here talking about it, but it's true. They're spending money smartly and responsibly. I especially love the offensive lineman signing. That, by far, is the best signing they've made all offseason. Lucas Patrick, 2 years, $8 million, $4 million guaranteed for this year only. So a $4 million cap hit for this year for a perennial starter offensive lineman who could play 3 different positions. That is unbelievable that he pulled that off, and familiarity with Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator. When you look at that move from all angles, you have to be just impressed. I'm impressed with that signing. Morrow, we'll see. Ogunjobi, good move in my opinion too. Morrow and Ogunjobi put together match and if not exceed Khalil Mack's production for half the price. Sign me up. And if the Bears need some help at wide receiver, well, another name has entered the fray. And if they don't overpay for Julio Jones, that by far is going to be a big win this offseason. I don't know how well he's going to do. He's older, hurt a lot, but if you get him on a flyer-type contract, it could turn out to be who he was in Atlanta. And how about that sort of pairing? Justin Fields and Julio Jones. Justin Fields getting a real weapon who's a veteran, who knows what it's all about, knows how to run a route and gain yards after the catch, knows how to go deep. He's a deep threat too. That to me would be a great match for the Bears offensively. They have options here. That's all you could ask for if you're a Bears fan, or you're the Bears themselves. They're sticking to their plan. They aren't letting me, you, public sentiment, fans, media, switch up what they're trying to do. Everyone's accepting that, number one, the Bears won't be good next year. And number two, it's not smart to spend stupid money when you know you're not going to be good next year, even the year after. This is a 2 to 3 to 4 year plan, and the Bears, as of today, are executing it to perfection. All of the contracts they gave out, little money, little cap hit, little commitment. Keyword, commitment. Little commitment. Shrewd moves. Ryan Poles, once again, as we enter day 3 of the tampering period, gets an A. No question. Still gets an A. All these moves, A. May not be popular. May look like to some Bears fans, oh my gosh, a rebuild again. That's because Ryan Pace left the Bears in shambles. He showed his inexperience at his position. This is 10 times different than Ryan Pace. And Foles has no experience technically. So I'm in love with it. And hopefully the Bears could at least just address the wide receiver position a bit, maybe another offensive lineman too. That'd be a huge success. But right now as it stands, they've done a great job, and I have nothing but praise for Ryan Poles for the way the Bears have handled this entire situation. Thanks for watching today's show here at BPOD TV, channel 59.3 in Roku. Really appreciate the time. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports, and on Facebook at Jon Zaghloul. You can watch more of this show. Search up Sports Talk Chicago, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, sportstalkchicago.com, and tune in right here every night at 10:30 on BPOD TV. So long, everyone.